Welcome to Mr. Gold with Initiative's YouTube channel. Today, I want to share a story with all of you: happiness, that elusive feeling everyone seeks yet so few truly grasp, often feels like a distant dream. For many, joy seems just out of reach, hidden behind the walls of expectation, comparison, and longing. But what if the secret to happiness is simpler than we think? What if the key lies not in achieving more, but in letting go of the habit that most people don't even realize is holding them back? The habit of comparing themselves to others. Imagine a young woman named Maya. From the outside, Maya's life looked enviable. She had a steady job, a loving family, and a comfortable home. Yet, every day, Maya scrolled through social media, watching the highlight reels of friends and strangers. She saw pictures of exotic vacations, glamorous parties, perfect relationships, and professional achievements. Each post seemed to whisper, "You're not enough." Maya began to measure her own worth against these snapshots, feeling increasingly inadequate, anxious, and isolated. The habit of comparison crept into every corner of her life. At work, she noticed colleagues getting promotions and imagined they must be smarter or more talented. At home, she saw neighbors upgrading their cars or homes and wondered why her own life was so ordinary. Even her relationships weren't safe from comparison. She questioned whether her friendships were as close or her marriage as happy as those she saw online. The more she compared, the less content she felt. Happiness seemed to slip through her fingers. One evening, Maya sat alone, her phone in her hand, tears streaming down her face. She realized she was exhausted, not from her life, but from the constant battle in her mind. She wanted to be happy, but didn't know how. That night, she decided something had to change. She began searching for answers: books, podcasts, articles, even therapy. Slowly, a pattern emerged. Happiness was not about having more, but about wanting less. The secret, countless wise voices repeated, was to stop comparing. But how could she do that? The world seemed designed for comparison. Everywhere she looked, there were reminders of what she lacked. Maya learned that comparison is deeply rooted in human nature. For thousands of years, people have looked to others to gauge their own success, safety, and status. A strategy that once helped tribes survive. But now, in a world saturated with curated images and endless information, often leads to dissatisfaction and envy. Maya realized she needed to rewire her thinking. She began with small steps. First, she limited her exposure to social media, recognizing that most posts were carefully edited to show only the best moments. She reminded herself that everyone struggles, even those whose lives seem perfect online. Next, she started a gratitude journal, writing down 3 things she was thankful for each day. Over time, she noticed that focusing on what she had, rather than what others had, made her feel more content. She also practiced self-compassion. When she caught herself comparing, she paused and asked, "Would I speak to a friend this way?" She learned to treat herself with the same kindness she offered others. Maya discovered that happiness grows not from criticism, but from acceptance. She began celebrating her own achievements, however small, and noticed her confidence blossoming. One day, she met an old friend for coffee. The friend shared stories of her own struggles, moments of doubt, fear, and frustration. Maya was surprised. She had always seen this friend as someone who had it all. Yet beneath the surface, there were battles she never knew existed. Maya realized that comparison is based on incomplete information. We see only the surface, not the full story. Everyone has challenges, insecurities, and scars that aren't visible to the world. Maya's journey was not a straight path. There were days she slipped back into old habits, days she felt envious or less than, but each time, she reminded herself of the truth. Happiness is an inside job. By focusing on her own growth and well-being, she found moments of joy she'd never noticed before. A quiet morning with a cup of tea, laughter with friends, the satisfaction of finishing a project, the warmth of family. Slowly, Maya's life changed. She stopped measuring her worth against others and began living for herself. She found that the more she appreciated her own journey, the richer her happiness became. She set her own goals, celebrated her own progress, and discovered a piece that comparison had always stolen. Maya's story is not unique. Across cultures and generations, people have struggled with the urge to compare. But those who learn to break free from this habit often find deeper, lasting happiness. The secret is simple yet profound. Stop comparing yourself to others and start appreciating who you are. But why is comparison so destructive? Psychologists explain that when we compare ourselves to others, we almost always come up short. We focus on our weaknesses and overlook our strengths. We forget that everyone's path is different, shaped by unique experiences, opportunities, and challenges. Comparison steals joy by shifting our attention from what we have to what we lack. Moreover, comparison breeds resentment, envy, and insecurity. It damages relationships, as friends become rivals and strangers become benchmarks. It leads to a constant state of dissatisfaction, as there is always someone richer, more attractive, more successful. The cycle never ends. Yet there is hope. The antidote to comparison is self-acceptance and gratitude. When we learn to appreciate our own lives, celebrate our own achievements, and cultivate thankfulness for what we have, happiness grows. Research shows that people who practice gratitude and self-compassion experience greater well-being, stronger relationships, and even better health. So, how can you break free from the trap of comparison? Here are some practical steps, inspired by Maya's journey and supported by science. First, become aware of your triggers. Notice when and where you tend to compare yourself to others. Is it on social media, at work, in your social circles? Awareness is the first step to change. Second, limit your exposure to comparison-driven environments. Curate your social media feeds, unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate, and seek out content that inspires and uplifts you. Spend more time with people who support and encourage you. Third, practice gratitude daily. Write down things you're thankful for, no matter how small. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from envy to appreciation. Fourth, celebrate your own progress. Set personal goals and track your achievements, however minor they may seem. Remember, your journey is unique. Progress is progress, no matter the pace. Fifth, cultivate self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness, especially when you make mistakes or feel vulnerable. Remember, perfection is an illusion. Embrace your flaws. They make you human. Sixth, seek connection rather than competition. Build relationships based on support, not rivalry. Celebrate others' successes and share your own. When you lift others up, you lift yourself as well. Finally, remember that happiness is a choice. It comes from within, not from external validation. When you stop comparing and start appreciating, you unlock a source of joy that no one can take away. Maya's story teaches us that happiness is not about being better than others, but about being true to ourselves. It's about embracing our own journey with all its ups and downs and finding meaning in the everyday moments. The secret is not out there, it's within you. So, let go of the urge to compare. Celebrate who you are, cherish what you have, and pursue your own path with courage and gratitude. Happiness is waiting, not in someone else's life, but in your own. All you have to do is stop comparing and start living. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos from Mr. Gold with Initiative.